Hey there, Chef Poyner here. I'm going to be cooking a very simple dinner tonight and wanted to invite you guys to come along and watch what we do. As you can see, this is not our industrial kitchen. This is a home kitchen here, and this is what we have to work with, meaning that this will not be serve safe. I will be in my pajamas, and we have a couple co-hosts here as well. This one here, his name is Mongo, and we also have Bernie Mac over here. They will be assisting me throughout this entire event. So to start things off, we are going to preheat our pan, medium heat. I have already cooked a batch of brown rice. We can insert that recipe here. And we're going to be starting off by cutting some onions. So y'all have done this before. Cut off the top. Cut off the bottom, cut down the middle, and then we peel all this papery stuff off.
Roll them.
All right. All right, so now we have all this paper out of the way. We're going to small dice these onions. So first you cut them down what we call rainbows. Turn it and cut along the ridges. All right, I'm going to turn this pan up a little bit here. I want to make sure that the metal's preheated before we add the oil to give it that non-stick effect. We'll be using just basic vegetable oil here. Give a good little squirt to the bottom of the pan and add in your onions. Add a little salt. And we're going to let those start cooking. In the meantime, we're going to be cutting up some sausages. These are andouille sausages, Cajun style, but you can use whatever type of meat you have at home. It could be pepperoni, it could be ham, Spam, turkey from last night's dinner, just some sort of a meat. So once the onions start sizzling, you could add in other vegetables if you have them, things like bell peppers, you could do zucchini, you could even add spinach in, but what we have right here available, we have onions, and then later we'll add a little bit of parsley to it, give it a little green. We're going to add in a spoonful here of garlic. It's pre-minced. That's going to add in some flavor. Get that in there with the onions as they cook. Now this garlic is a lot smaller than the onions, so just want to keep an eye on it so it doesn't burn before the onions get done. Now one thing about rice and beans is it might not be super flavorful, so we want to make sure that it is flavorful. Right now we have oil and onions and garlic working, so we want to add in some spices so that they can get hot with that and give it some flavor. We're going to work with two primarily. We got cumin. This is the one that might smell like a taco seasoning packet to you. This is just going to add a depth of flavor here. So we're going to sprinkle some in. Again, there will not be many measurements going on. We just cook these things the way that you like. Now the cumin can start getting hot in the oil with the onions to give it more flavor. The other spice we're working with is Spanish paprika. It's a bright red. It smells vegetably, kind of roasted. It literally comes from red bell pepper, so this is a nice flavor to add in. We're going to add it in at this stage again so that it can kind of get hot with the onions. It looks like a lot of spices, and it is, but we're going to add a lot of rice to this, and rice is very, very bland, so this is going to flavor the rice once that gets added in. It's starting to stick to the bottom just a little bit, so I'm going to add in a little bit of oil. And that's going to create a paprika flavored oil that will coat the rice later. When you look at the sausages, you can see the white stuff in there. That's going to be a lot of fat. So as these slowly warm up, they're going to release some of that fat, which again is going to add more flavor to your dish. The beans we're going to use are red beans, classic, traditional for like Cajun New Orleans style food, but you can really use any type of beans that you have at home. If they're canned, I recommend that you drain that juice off. The juice can be used in things like soups and stews, but for something that's going to be more dry like red beans and rice, you don't need any of that excess liquid in there. So that's going to be going in there in just a moment. Keep an eye on the bottom of your pan so that nothing's burning. We're going to add in this brown rice. This was 2 cups worth of brown rice, which then you added 4.5 cups of water to it, and it made this much. Drop that down in there. Start incorporating that. This is also just a 2-pan meal, which is great for dishes. You won't have much besides this and the cutting board. As you can see, we used brown rice. Brown rice has a lot more nutritional value to it. For one, it still has the husk involved on the outside of the rice, and that's going to give you some fiber. And students, you know, we just talked about fiber in class, so that's something that you would want, especially if your diet doesn't have a ton of fresh fruits and vegetables. You still need to get fiber, and you can get that in this meal through brown rice as well as through the beans. You can tell when it's mixed because the brown rice is now red, sort of to match the beans and sort of to match the sausage here. Now we do want to let these flavors get to know each other for a little bit, meaning that we want it to cook. So we're going to turn the heat way down and let these seasonings just stay hot with the rice and the beans till everything gets up to a good temperature. Now remember, if you're reheating anything like pre-cooked rice, it needs to be heated to 165 degrees Fahrenheit to be safe to eat. The last thing I'm going to add in, which is mostly for presentation here, is just a little bit of dried parsley. We don't have any fresh right now, so we're going to sprinkle a little bit of that throughout, not much. And then I'll stir that in just so that not everything you're looking at in this pot is red. If you don't have a thermometer at home and you're not sure how to check if it's 165 degrees, you can just wait for the steam. Once the entire thing is steaming pretty well, that means it's around 175 to 180 degrees. All right, well, this has been just being stirred under low heat for about 10 minutes now, and the flavors are starting to come together. I did add some more salt. If your flavors are kind of flat, add a little bit of salt and taste it, add a little bit of salt and taste it again until those flavors kind of are brought out. Because remember, the role of salt is to make you salivate, to make all the flavors more flavorful in your mouth. All right, so we're going to try a little bite here. See how it is. Good. This is even better as leftovers. So tomorrow, if you can have it for breakfast, put an egg on top, it's delicious. Tonight, I'll probably put a little bit of sour cream on top, which is good. And it's really good to be served with, it might sound weird, but applesauce, that kind of sweet, cold side dish to this with a little bit of fiery hotness to it and Cajun flavorings. It was very yummy together. So that concludes the cooking demonstration. Your homework today is to get a little bit of fresh air, whether that means you're going to be going out, take a little walk, or you can put on some blankets and open up the windows and just bask in the fresh air. So, see you guys next time. Bye.